Good morning. It's most afternoon, but anyway. Yeah, look, I'm not even interested in religion or anything like that. I just felt there's a lot of, when I'm born, I was just a free person, just free as a bird, love the world, just, well, I didn't think about love, it was just, thought about, meeting my true love or something. My sweetheart. That's what I thought about. I didn't think about wanting to work. I didn't want to be anything. I just wanted to meet my sweetheart. So, in that respect, I'd done all my work. I'd done so much work in history, inventing everything, creating everything. Sort of just come back just to settle down, go to heaven with my sweetheart and enjoy what I'd made. It was like I woke up to the world and came back to enjoy it, like. So, all that Jesus stuff doesn't really interest me, really. It's someone else's interest, like, if you want to be remembered that way, acknowledge the person and treat them that way in a positive way, don't try and threaten them or, which is what's happened. I've been threatened and bullied and pushed around but it doesn't interest me, I'm not the one interested in that. That's history, that's gone. I lived that, it's gone. It's not even me anymore. That was someone else, so I just think about the person I am now, and what I like doing now. And it's sad I had to go through all that mental health. That was a big mistake, I should never have gone through all that. But I suppose what I was trying to do was I was beckoning on the doorstep of trying to be a filmmaker, which is not easy. I mean, look what happened to Heath Ledger, River Phoenix. I might have been the next one of those that went out in the Viper Room or something and died or something, So the fact I sort of did that here before going to New York or wherever I might have gone to make movies, I went to that rave party with my friends from school and, well, it was a whole mishmash of people, really. I didn't even really know some of them very well, so, yeah, it's probably a bit dangerous, really, doing that kind of thing without being in love, I mean, you got to have that protective coating to do those sort of drugs and that. If you're just going on your own, you're stressed out and you're a bit of a wanker, you don't have a girlfriend, you're going to be like vulnerable, So I'm not saying drugs are good or I don't condone them, but if you are into that sort of thing, you got to have a girlfriend or a love life or that protective barrier coating or something to keep yourself amused and happy while you're going through that experience. If you're going through it as a scary experience and you're meeting someone else who's all of a sudden flipped out paranoid and then attack you and then you flip out, which is what happened, then it's not going to be a good experience. And all through my life, I should have had a girlfriend or love life, and then my life would have worked out really well. Like, not saying it hasn't, but it would have been a much more pleasant journey, It wouldn't have been all the fear and the hospitals and the scary stuff that went on. But yeah, look, I'm always there for people if they need me at all. Like if there's people that need to think of me as a savior or Jesus or some other thing, that was my spirit. So, but I don't want to be treated like I'm a martyr or put up on a cross or all that sort of shit, And the lesson I just like to leave with people is just treat people well, like they're here in the present, not like they don't exist or they're somewhere else. That they've vanished off the earth, but you're still praying at them, and they're living on earth, and they're suffering through your prayers. It's like no one wants to live through that, So just got to acknowledge people when you feel people, acknowledge them and respond. And so my spirit's evolved now; it's heaven now. So what you're relating to around you is my spirit, is heaven. So it's not a bad thing. It's just a loving, beautiful feeling that creates warmth and magic in the air, and I may not look like it because I'm not married. Look, I look a bit frumpy and a bit shitty and a bit crappy because I'm not married. I'm not groomed. So this is basically the best I can be on my own, really, without a girlfriend or a wife. I'm not going to look any better exercising. I'll just wear myself out. If you aggressively exercise when you don't have a love life, you do actually damage your nervous system a bit. So I tend to just do a bit of exercise to keep healthy, but I don't want to be super fit without a girlfriend. I mean, so I'm still on the lookout all the time for someone who wants to hang out and be my mate through life. You know, my girlfriend, whatever. And like I say, all that religious stuff, I've never been interested in it. That doesn't interest me because it's elementary to me. It's not. It's like we know all that stuff already. How to be good and how to be nice to people. And if you don't, well, I suppose it's for those people who don't know how to be and need to read that stuff and want to learn about it. But I lived that so long ago. It's really not relevant anymore. I mean, churches really, I mean, ideally should be for the homeless to live in. So that should be what the churches are for, you know, for the vagrants and that. When they lost their homes or lost their families, they can go and stay there. It's like a sanctuary or you know, like a asylum, I suppose. Not like a mental asylum, just asylum, like somewhere to seek asylum. You know, like well, they've lost their family, they need somewhere to live for a while or permanently, I suppose, if they've lost all their families. So they should really have rooms and everything, churches, to live in, a bit like a castle, you know, like for homeless people or just people really struggling, and you know, and they should feel that bond with God's love if they don't have their family around. So that's what they should be there for, to pray and feel connected to love, you know, when they've lost their family. Because for most people, just being in love with your family is the best connection to God that you have. You don't need to do any more. So, you know, it's just the loving, caring, peaceful, you know, tranquil in some respects. That nice tranquil feeling you get with people when you're talking, and it's nice and tranquil and you're just at peace. It's beautiful, you know. Much better than aggression and violence and, you know, sickness and all the other shit people go through. It's like, you know, and peace really is good for your health. Like, you need peace in your body to regenerate, restore your nervous system, your brain and everything, good brain health. People that abuse their bodies do end up with Alzheimer's and all these other horrible bloody problems. You got to really use your brain well in your body and keep healthy. And yeah, I mean, I probably thought too much in the future, but it helped create my heaven. It was part of my journey, so I don't look back at anything I've ever done as a bad thing. I can see the whole thing was there to create my heaven. So would have been lovely to do it with a partner. Would have just been more a pleasant experience, and might have been able to share it more with someone else. But hopefully one day I'll share it with someone, and I'll still enjoy it for myself. But it's nice to share it with someone else. It makes it more beautiful. And I mean, there'd be peace on earth if I was married to 100 sort of Barbie girls. You know, the world would be perfect. I'd have my little kingdom back, my little Disney kingdom. I'd probably end up like Peter Pan or something like that. Yeah, Peter Pan. You don't really want it to go to warfare and all that. I'd end up like Thanos or whoever he is with all the rings. That's what I'd look like by the end of it. That's when I balance my wavelength or whatever we are, you know, balance my frequency. I'd end up like Thanos, that big, is he purple? That big purple monster man. That's what I'd be like when I come back to myself, you know, through the battles and everything to get back to who I really am is that kind of Thanos big man. I think he's Thanos. Isn't that? I think it's Marvel or DC series. Don't have a picture. You know the guy's big mean looking bloke with all the rings and yeah. Anyway, then after that I'd probably become, when the world's happy again, everything's balanced, the force is balanced. I'd end up like Peter Pan, flying around having fun. Like that'd be cool. I do believe we can fly. I do believe it's possible that your spirit can actually get that powerful that it can lift you off the ground and take you anywhere. Once you have that universal power or spirit or whatever you want. You'd have to go all the way through heaven to become like that, though. I mean, you'd have to have a brilliant experience in life, not just sit around watching TV. You'd have to be just like flying. You can't just jump off buildings and do all this stuff to become Peter Pan. It's too dangerous. You'd end up killing yourself. You got to really just have a really fun, really happy life. One day I'll get all the way through heaven. I'll be Peter Pan, get to Neverland. It's fantasy for most, isn't it? Yeah. No, it's just a nice way to believe in life. It's just a different perspective to actually believe in life instead of just getting up, going to work, coming home, making money, feeding the kids, going to bed. I like to believe all these other things are possible, makes me happy. It's my happy place, all this sort of belief in the future. That, the world could be like the Jetsons for a long time, living up in the sky, doing all sorts of fun stuff before we go to space, I think we should get used to living in the sky, and then maybe Aboriginals could have Australia back. We get rid of the cities, put them in the sky. The Aboriginals might like their land back as, a peaceful sort of haven for animals and to regenerate and, do all their fishing again, get all the pollution off the land, and damages the river systems. Once that happens, you can't really fish. Just get carp. Who wants carp? I don't know. There's probably some Aboriginals eat carp. I don't know how you do that. It's pretty gross, but. Even I'd like to live like Aboriginals for a while, I reckon. Just see what it's like. Just as long as there'd be abundant life to live on, I just wouldn't like to eat grubs too much. If you can fish and maybe have some lizards or something. I ate a lizard once. It was quite nice. It was like a chickeny fish flavour. It was quite good. I ate crabs and that when I went bush, and just wanted to go on a bush tucker experience, sort of a survival SAS trek. That was cool. I went for about a month and just by myself up near Catherine in the national park, and I just learned a lot about life and myself. Like I learned there's always a path. You think you're stuck up on a rock and there's no way out. There's always a path. That's what I found out. That was one of my lessons. And also the spirits guide you. These Aboriginal men were guiding me through the whole place. So I thank them. And yeah. And probably don't lose your shoes. I left my shoes behind and the bloody rocks cut my feet to ribbons. I had to go to the hospital when I got back because my feet were cut so badly. They still haven't healed up. Still got little cuts and that just will not heal up. Anyway, the scars we bear, eh? Feet are funny, aren't they? You can't let them rest because you always got to use them. I suppose I could get a wheelchair and go through life like that for a year and not use my feet at all and just let them heal up properly. So once they're healed up, they're all right, but the skin's cracked, so it just won't knit. I really probably need like a poultice sort of bandage thing on it that keeps it moist enough to bond, and then give it some air and let it dry up, and then, it'll all knit up. I thought that guy cut my foot at the hostel up in Maybe it didn't. Maybe it just split from walking. But yeah, it was just really weird. I woke up with such a big cut in my heel. It was huge. Oh, strange. Maybe it's the way people who don't like you. It's sort of a way to kind of knock people off or something. Maybe other people die from it because they, you know, it affects their mind or something, and they can't get where they need to be or something. Just wonder if it's a way of not trying to kill people or something. I hope not, but probably little things certain people learn. They think, oh, I'll just do that and see what happens to someone. But it might not have been. Might have just been innocent. Like, just might have been my foot cracked open from all the walking. So I did a lot of walking, but yeah, it just seemed a bit deep. It was a bit strange. But anyway, live and learn. I've got to get my feet sorted out eventually. Eventually I'll heal up. Not too bad, but looking alright. Just a couple of big cracks on the back of the heel. I probably should rub all the skin off and let it sort of... Yeah. But like I say, if you need someone to talk to, like a Jesus or a Christ, I don't mind being that person. It makes no difference to me, but that's a long time ago. I'm not like that anymore. I'm not like a sad, solemn monk that's going to walk around trying to heal the sick. Those days are over. You got medicine now. You got all this other naturopathy. I can give naturopathy advice. I've studied a bit of naturopathy, so I have studied medicine, but my advice is to let your body heal up. It's going to come out in funny ways. If you've lost a limb or something, it's going to grow out and you're somewhere else, and then eventually it'll pop back. Might take 1,000 years, but your arm will eventually grow back. So give yourself time and hope, and you can still use medicine. You can still use medicine as long as it doesn't damage your body more. But yeah, if you're suffering cancer, get advice from someone who knows about cancer. But if I had it myself, I'd get advice from doctors, but also I wouldn't want things cut off me. I'd like to say, look, I just want to see how this is really, what this mutation really is and why it's actually there. Is it there really to kill me, or is it my lack of faith in my own body the thing that kills me, Is the mutation, this cancer growth, actually a way of growing back something which I'm lacking? I don't believe our bodies are here to harm us. I think that they do things to try and accelerate our life into eternity. I can't see why you'd want to be born and then die. I think you're supposed to be born and then live forever. I just don't see why you wouldn't. It's the idea that you have to be born and then die, because I don't remember being actually woken up before. I may have existed, but I just don't ever remember. I have memories of my life all through history, but in those memories, I don't remember actually being aware that I was alive. I was alive, but not aware of it. So now I'm aware that I'm actually alive. I don't want to lose that again. So I think if this body ever passes on, I'll have turned into some other god type being. It's my turn to evolve, and I think I'll be reborn and see myself and be able to what's the word I'm trying to think of? Translate or transfer my consciousness. I think I'll be able to do that and see myself from both sides. That's what I think. So I think that's how you evolve. I think twins try and do it. They try and transfer consciousness. They do it in a different way, but I suppose it's like giving birth to yourself in the world and then seeing yourself from another dimension and transferring that consciousness, so you can almost walk off and be someone else, and the other person can walk off and maybe they die, but you're already reborn, so you don't actually die, you don't actually lose the world. And to me, sleep's good enough. Sleep's enough rest for me overnight. I don't need to die. I don't need to die. Like, I can have a good night's sleep and wake up brand new, you know. So maybe some people have a really shitty life, they just don't want to live. That's fair enough, you know. Go and have a good sleep, a good rest. You won't know yourself when you're born again, but that's just, you know, if you believe in your spirit is that essentially the precious, important part of you, that's the part that you'll value, because then you'll probably just think this body will pass away and it's not important. To me, because of what I went through, it's almost like I ascensioned, like I ascended, and my body turned to spirit, because my belief in myself, my ego died or changed, and I couldn't see that I was physical anymore. My whole body became spiritual. So, and the whole world around me became spiritual, and the whole belief in the world was turned from the belief that we're physical. It's like I learned something about the world, that the whole world is actually spiritual. Like even what we're sitting on, even dead matter is spiritual too. And like I said before, do we pick up the cup, or does the cup ask us to pick itself up? You know, is the cup picking itself up and we're just moving our hand? You know, like, has that cup got life in it that wants us to pick it up? Because why am I picking it up? Is it just from me, or does the cup want to be picked up? Because we're all just atomic energy bonding and relating. So I wrote something online. I'll try and put a link up to see if you want to read it. Just my theory on stuff. So you may have read it already. It's kind of like a Star Wars, where he goes like that with his hand, and a lightsaber flies up and he grabs it. It's like the lightsaber wants to come up to him. So instead of him physically using his hand to pick it up, it's almost like the world around him is the force. He understands the whole world is the physical world, is spiritual, and you can use the energy between things to pick things up too. So you don't actually have to physically grab it and pick it up. You can ask it to come to your hand and it'll respond, you know. I think with a greater love, a greater energy, greater force, greater power, those sort of things are possible. And you might see it as magic, but I see it as like, I suppose it is magic in a way compared to what we know, but I see it as just another step towards relating to things on a deeper level, you know. So yeah, I think they're all things that are possible, really. I suppose we don't want to walk around with everything flying at us, do we? But it's a relationship you have with things. You don't just sit there and the whole world moves at you. It's like things ask and you respond, or you ask and it responds. You know, it's like a relationship with certain objects at certain times. It's part of your journey, part of your story. And, you know, it's not just Star Wars. There's other movies out there which involve, you know, like Harry Potter, or other movies, like just, you know, I can't think of any offhand, but we may never live them out the way we see them on screen, but they may be just inspiration to actually change the life that we're living into something better. I hope they're not like they are, you know, where there's a Death Star that blows up an entire planet. I don't like that idea of actually destroying an ecosystem like that. I think there's better options out there. My heaven that governs the whole world, in a sense, which isn't just me, it's everything that believes in love, and it's that force out there that nurtures the world, and I'm a big part of that. You know, throughout history I've been thought of that way, so I've gone and done a lot of those things. There's good things, there's good deeds and things that are the good work too. Things I've invented is all born out of love and helping the world prosper. So live long and prosper. Now what's the symbol? That one. No, that one. Live long and prosper. Hang on, better do it properly. Is it that way? Oh, I can't do it with that hand. I can do it with this one. Live long and prosper. Now you're going to think I'm more like Captain Kirk than anyone, I think. If I did actually, if I was well groomed, I'd look a lot like Captain Kirk, I think. And I do act a bit like him. What's his name? Shatner, isn't it? He's a bit of a goose sometimes in other shows. He's a bit of a clown, isn't he? I can be that way a bit. You got to do that in space to keep happy, I think. I think it's a good lesson there, the way he acts up, acts all silly in some movies and that. Because in space, you've got to be able to be a clown and keep yourself amused because you're stuck in a ship for how many years, I do it at home. I just jerk around and have fun, If you can't do that, how are you going to keep up morale, You can't just stand around staring at a screen, it's stupid. Anyway. All right, well, see you later. Don't do things that, or maybe do things that I would do, yeah, or I wouldn't do. Yeah, I don't know. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Don't blame me, I didn't do it. Crusty. Yeah. It's just a bit of fun, all the characters. People probably think I'm like that in real life. It's just for YouTube. Just for YouTube. Just for YouTube. Just for a laugh. Alright, see you later. Alligator.